Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here, and today is Casing Tuesday. And that means we're going to be taking a card out of the catalog and giving it a makeover. And today I think I went a little bit further with this particular card and turned it also into a shaker card. And I know we had talked about this. I had used the Sweet Jar bundle on a previous card, and I didn't make it into a shaker card, but this one I thought it would be fun to show you how to make it into a very, I think, fairly easy shaker card as far as shaker cards go. But I also wanted to show you how to do it in just a plain card as well, because sometimes we need quicker cards, right? So here is my shaker card version, and that's what we're going to be making today. I didn't even show you the original card, but this is the card we're going to be making today, and then this is my version of the card that is just a regular card. And so and we're going to do this in different colors today, because I thought, wouldn't it be boring to make the exact same colors? So we're going to use the newer ink colors that are on sale for this particular card. So let's take a look first of all at our card for today. Here it is. And it kind of matches what I'm doing. The pear is a kind of where my jar is, and the thank you, I wish maybe the thank you was a little bit bigger to match, but I did space out the happy, happy, happy to make it look like it filled up more space. So basically I have made a card in this layout, except I have done it in the shaker card version. So if you want to make this card with us, here is the sketch for the card, and this kind of just gives you the layout. And of course, just like I did, I changed up my layout a little bit and made it fit the bundle that I was using. So that is always your option. And we have a Facebook group where you can post your cards, where I post my cards, and we can all share what we're making, or you can see what everyone else is making as well. All right, I'm still suffering a little bit from my shoulder problem, and I don't know, it was doing fine all morning, but right now it's like tightening up again. I don't know what it is about going live that makes it act up, but I'm gonna do my best to get through this. So I'm gonna try and go a little faster than I normally do so I don't aggravate it more, because it is really, I don't know, it kind of ruined my weekend. I'm just saying, because I had a lot of work to do and I couldn't do it. I couldn't sit at my desk and do work. So I'm just still trying to battle that before we go away on Friday. So one thing I will mention, these in colors that I used are the older in colors. They are not on sale, but the colors that I'm going to use on the card today, you just have a few more days to get those colors at 15% off. So please take advantage of that discount while you still have it. And August 31st is a Sunday, so you have like just a little bit under a week to do that. All right, we're gonna switch right away over to my desk. Also, when you place an order with me, you will get a free tutorial, one of my free paid tutorials that I reserve for my customers and my team. So yeah, let's get started and make this card. We used, I just want to share with you too, this is the little jar box we made on Friday, and doesn't it like match up nicely with this birthday card? So you could do the two of them together, and it's a nice little card with a little tiny gift box. So, and this is the Sweet Jar. Let me close this up. This is the Sweet Jar bundle, and you can also get the Christmas stamp set that matches this, which is called Jar of Joy. Today I am just using the Sweet Jar bundle though, but you could easily turn this into a Christmas card too if you wanted to. Okay, so let's we're going to make both cards, and I selected as the base, I selected Secret C, just because I'm running low on my designer series paper, and that's one color I haven't used a lot of yet out of my designer series paper pack. So by default, I liked this pattern better than the stripey pattern for the background. So that's why we use Secret C. It would work well with others as well. So the card base on both cards is 8.5 by 5.5 and scored in half at the 4 1/4 inch mark. So we'll kind of make both of these cards simultaneously. I've already pre-scored these. And then I cut 2 pieces of the designer series paper to 5 by 3 3/4, and this works the same on both cards. Just go ahead and glue down your paper, and I know this, the prettier side is what we're going to glue down, but we can't have all of this distraction. We need to focus on the jar, and the flowers are too pretty and they're going to draw the eye away from the jar. They're just the wrong scale for our card. Okay, so let's glue these down. Yeah, it feels a lot better when I lean back than if I lean forward. It's just, it aggravates my shoulder for some reason. Ugh. Man, okay, so next off, we're going to stamp our greeting, I have to make some choices already. I haven't pre-made these cards, so I've just cut 2 little pieces. These are 3.5 by 1 inch, both of them, and I'm going to be making the candles in the card. On this one, I did Pretty in Pink and Petunia Pop. And on my card, let's build the plain card first, and then let's experiment with colors for the greeting, because I'm not really sure what I want to do yet. We're going to take the jar punch, and we're going to take Smoky Slate ink. I may have forgotten to leave Smoky Slate ink on, put it on my supply list. So Google Smoky Slate. It is a neutral gray color to create your jar with. And next up, we are going to, actually we won't need this again for the regular card, but we will need, for the shaker card, but we will need it for this card. I have decided I'm going to do these 2 colors, Strawberry Slush and Timid Tiger, for the candles. Yeah, you might be thinking, why, Brenda, why those colors? I want to use the in colors, so the yellow is going to be the candles, so we can't use yellow. I'm already using Secret C for the card base, so that only gave me Cloud Cover as the alternate choice, and I thought I would kind of do colors that were kind of similar. So pink and orange it is. So for these candles, you're always going to stamp the trio of candles in the center of the jar first, and then you're going to go right beside it and do the next one. We have single candles too, which are going to be the orange candles, and then we're going to go right beside that. So that's the pattern, middle, side, side. And then we're going to pop this out of the way. We're going to need this again, but we're going to come in with orange. This is the single candle, and then we just fill in with the single candle. Now, pink and orange, from a distance, you know, they kind of are very similar. We'll see how this all works out. We'll see if I like it in the end. Okay, next up we have the flame, and I'm going to do that in Darling Duckling, which is another one of the ink colors that's on sale. And we're only going to put the flame on the orange candles, the timid tiger candles, just so, because this flame is quite big and it takes up a lot of space. And you know, as I was doing this, and some of you might be thinking this too, those flames would never be on if there's a lid on the jar, right? But this is not reality here. So we're just going to do that, okay? And then I'm going to put this aside for a second. We're going to punch this out. So this is going to be our kind of our tester card to see how we like the look of things. And then we're going to make the shaker card. That way I can play with the colors. Okay, so we've got pink and orange. And then I think I'm going to come in here. I think, oh, this is going to be a hard color choice. I'm going to need to do, I don't know. I'm going to give you the color choice floor. These are my lid color choices. It can't be, I don't think it can be Secret C. So, given the fact that we have, the Secret C card base, we have pink and orange candles, what color do you think we should do the lid of the jar in? I am going to let you decide that. And then in terms of doing the happy birthday, that's another color choice. I think I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the birthday in Secret C. So I'm going to let you choose the color of the lid. I'm going to stamp birthday way over here, down here. And I'm going to do that in Secret C. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to use the pink and the orange again, I think. This is maybe just the orange. No, pink. Because whenever I think of the word happy, I think of a bright color. So we're going to do that, happy. And then I'm just going to keep going with the pink. I'm going to do happy here. And then happy there. Because it's a bright color. Okay. People are saying strawberry slush for the lid. Huh. All right. Well, let's give it a try. Let's give it a try. My weird color choices for today. Let's see. I could have punched them all. That would have been like a more balanced approach. Yeah, that looks good. I like that. That looks pretty. Yep. Okay, we can go with that. I was questioning you guys. Basically, I was judging you for your jar lid color. But before we do anything and glue things down, I want to come in here and I'm going to score the lid. Just put the long side of the lid down and we're going to just pop that down and we're going to score it like that. And that way it kind of looks more like a jar lid. Okay. So now we just need to arrange this on here. And we'll start off, you know what? I was going to, let's glue this on here first. And I kind of said in my instructions from my shaker jar card, I kind of said, this ruler is like way out of control here. Okay, so I said about 1/2 inch from the side and about 7/8 from the bottom. Okay, So we'll just glue that right about there. And then both of my jar cards should, so that looks pretty straight. And then we're going to glue this onto here. Does this look straight? All right. And if I want to just like, since this is just regular basic white, I'm just going to punch one more jar because I want to pop this up on dimensionals, and it feels like just a little bit flimsy. So I'm just going to double it up a little bit just to give it a little bit more strength. You don't have to do that. And I'm working my way around the edge of my dimensionals here. And I made some little cuts into here because I like to use up all the pieces of my dimensionals. So just bear with me as I use these weird edge pieces. So 4 little dimensionals. And then we're going to pop this over here. Okay. And then I did pre-tie a little bow. And we're just going to glue that right on the side right here. Just hold that in place for just a second. So now that we've got our colors chosen, it's going to be a little easier for me to make the next card because we've already done all of our color choices. And then we're going to come in with some of these. These pearls, these flat pearls come in both of the in colors. So there's a set for the newer in colors and a set for the older in colors. And these ones right now are on sale. So pick them up if you like them because all of these colors that I'm using today are on sale. So up till August 31st. So let's decide. I'm gonna try and just, I'm gonna do like these ones right here. These are the Secret C ones, and the reason I'm going to do Secret C and not like the brighter colors is I want them to show, but I don't want them to detract from my little birthday jar right there. So there you go. That is card number 1. That was fairly easy, huh? That went really, really quickly. And it's not a bad card. Okay, so now let's make the shaker version of this card. So we're going to do kind of the same thing. I could have stamped this already. Sometimes the hardest part of this is just picking the colors, right? Like you have an idea for a card, but then you have to execute it with paper. So I want to put this right over here on the edge. Birthday. And then we're going to need our happy, happy, happy. So this is my solution to taking up more space for the greeting, because in the original card we had a really big greeting, and now I couldn't get it that big, but I did make it bigger than it was before, right? So there's different ways that you can fill up more space if you want to. Okay, so now again, I measured this because I want to make sure that this fits on my card, and I do everything with shaker cards. You have to be a little bit precise with things if you want everything to fit on here. So we're going to want this like 1/2 inch by 7/8. Okay, let me go ahead and put glue on the back of here. Probably wondering, what is she doing? I need this on here first. 1/2 by 7/8. 1/2 by 7/8. Okay. So you want your greeting to be 1/2 inch from the right side and 7/8 from the bottom. Okay. And this again was 3.5 by 1 inch. Now we're going to take our punch. We're going to create the hole. We are now making this card. We're going to line this up with the edge of the designer series paper right here. Okay. And I'm going to put this down on the work surface. The punch goes all the way in as far as it can go. The left side is lined up with the designer series paper. And then I'm going to punch it down like that to create the hole for your shaker card. Okay. Step 1. Now I have to remember all the steps. Good luck with that, right? Okay, I know I had a little piece of white cut in the exact size I need. This is it. This piece measures 2 3/8 by 2 1/4. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, if you hold this up into the light a little bit, I don't know if you can see it, but you can kind of at some point, you can see right now, I can see through it. What I just want to do is I'm centering this on my hole. If you hold it up into the light, you can get it kind of centered so it's over the hole. Okay. Basically, I just want to see white all the way around on here. That's the goal. And then I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to take my pencil and I'm just going to lightly trace. Actually, you know what? I don't need to go all the way around to the top because I'm not stamping anything down there. I basically just need to know where the bottom is and where the sides are. That's all I need to know. And then we're going to come back in with our pattern for the candle. And this time, because I'm doing a shaker card, and I want these candles to be down at the bottom, whereas these ones right here and on my other card, they were above that, kind of that. This one, see, they weren't quite touching the bottom. But on this one, I am going to aim for that bottom pencil line for a reason. Because I want them down at the bottom. I don't want them floating in the air. Here's my ink pad. Okay, so again, we're going to do strawberry slush, and we're going to be right at the bottom, and I'm just aiming to the center. Okay, and then we're going to go next to that, like that, and next to that, like that. Okay. And then we're going to come in with our next ones, which are Timid Tiger. And do the single candles. Ooh. Okay. Single candle. Single candle. And single candle. And I like how these candles, they are not perfectly straight. So that's good news for us, because that way we're not trying to stamp them 100% perfectly, because they're just going to look a little bit random. And that's their job. There's the random candles stacked in a jar with a lid on it that the candles would immediately puff out because they would need oxygen, and it's not realistic. It's not. I don't know why I thought of that immediately. I was like, this is not realistic at all. But, you know, give it to someone, a friend that is a scientist, and they'll be like, they'll just be worried about the candles in the jar or thinking about that's not realistic the whole time. Or give it to someone who you know won't care about things like that, right? Okay, so we've got this. We should erase the pencil lines now. And we're going to set this aside because we have to do a couple of things before we put this into place. But the reason I did this now is because once you cover up your hole with the window sheet, you cannot trace this afterwards because, yeah, the window sheet is covering the hole. So you need to do this first. And so set this piece aside, and now we're going to find that window sheet piece that I stuck aside. This piece here is a 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 inch piece. And you know what's really helpful? You might have adhesive on your desk or something. Just rub this with your embossing buddy. This is in the Embossing Editions toolkit. Just give it a little wipe with this powder first. So any sticky stuff, or just make sure it's clean and doesn't have sticky stuff on it. Ask me how I know. There is a sticky spot on this window sheet, and one of these little guys keeps getting stuck there. So this morning I heated up that spot very quickly with the heat tool, and then I shook it around and it came off. So that made me happy, but I'm not sure if that won't happen again. So with this, we're going to just go around here and we're going to trace the outside and very carefully do this side. We're just going to trace all the way around this piece. And we want to make sure we cover up the hole for the lid as well. I'm going to wipe this off now on my pants. My pants are just like a catch-all for everything. That's why I wear black most of the time, because that way, if I get ink on my hands, I can wipe my hands on my pants and it will not matter. Okay. So that's the 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 inch window sheet, and that is just meant to cover the hole. And then the next thing we need to do is grab these guys. These are foam adhesive strips, and we are just gonna go around this bigger piece. The lid you will ignore the lid. So we're just going to take little pieces and we're going to go just around this thing here. I have not worked with these a lot, so there might be a better way than what I'm doing, but I'm just taking little pieces and I'm just kind of getting them stuck around there. You kind of want them right on the edge. You don't want them showing through the window though, so just keep that in mind because you don't want the foam to show through on the other side. I'm just kind of guessing here how big these need to be. And then you can kind of also curve them a bit because this is foam. So if you want to just kind of help it follow, just follow the edge here. They curve a bit, but I would still say that they don't curve completely. So when you have like a sharper angle, I still like to, you know, just cut a smaller piece of foam. And I'm always kind of just like pushing it against the next one so you don't leave any gaps. You can't have any gaps with these because the little pieces you put in there are going to fall out. Okay, let me peel up this piece and let's see how big this one needs to be. All right. Okay, I'm going to do one more thing. take a cotton swab, a Q-tip, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to kind of put it in the powder, and I'm going to just kind of go around the edges here to neutralize if there's anything sticky on here. Okay. All right. So I've got my little jar ready to go. Now, last night I was looking, do I have any shaker stuff? No, Brenda did not have anything. I did, but it was ended up being retired. So the cool thing is we are going to use these guys. I'm going to use one of every color and every size. So there's 5 colors and 3 sizes of each color, so that gives us 15 little pieces, which is about the perfect amount to put inside the dome. And so that you didn't have to watch me do this for every single one, I pre-did some. So, but I'm just going to show you how to get rid of the adhesive on the back. At first I thought I would be dabbing them onto my little thing, but first you take one of these, and it's good to have like something pokey, like a piercer or a thumbtack, and you're just gonna poke on the back, and this is like a big mini glue dot, and you're just gonna peel it off, okay? And then you're gonna stick it on something. Like I have an extra happy birthday here. We're gonna just stick it on this piece. Make sure you stick it onto something, because otherwise it's gonna get stuck onto something. Then take your little thing, your little embossing buddy, and you're just gonna rub this on there, just in case there's any remaining adhesive on there. You just wanna make sure you're neutralizing it. Take your next one, and again, you're just poking that little mini glue dot off and then rubbing it on there. I know this is a little extra work, but you're gonna get little shapes that match your in colors exactly. And as I said before, these little pearls come in colors to match this color in color group, and then we have these ones here that match the other in color group. So but this in color group right now is on sale, so that's why I'm using it today. And okay, so now we're going to peel off this last one. This last one's sometimes a little harder because it's small, but it will just come off. And there's your little adhesive. Stick it down onto something else, and then you're going to rub it onto here. And then just have like a little place to put. I just made myself a little box. I have these little containers that are left over from projects, like lids and things like that, that maybe were a discard, and then I end up using them as little like embellishment holders or for little tiny pieces that I'm using for my cards. Okay, so now I'm going to take off the backing of my strips first, because it's hard to do it when you have all these little guys in there. And so we're just gonna do that. Okay, everything is stuck. Now I'm gonna take these and put them right there in the center. And here is the moment of truth. I have my little piece. There it is. Okay, so now if you can walk over to a window or something like that, and you can kind of see the light through here. That's the best way I have found to do this. Or if you hold it up in the air and you can look underneath it, so you can place this. So you know what, I'm gonna take this out of camera view for a second, because I'm gonna hold this up, and I'm gonna hold this above my head like this. And I'm going to hold this up so I can see through and place this on top. Okay, you can't see me do this. Oh, and now I'm noticing that my little strip is kind of showing at the bottom. I don't like that. I'm pushing it back out. Here, I'm gonna just do this for a second. This little strip got into the window view just a little bit. So I'm just moving that out of the way. But I'm holding this above my head. Just pretend you can see me, that you have a different camera view angle, and we're going to place that down into the correct spot. Okay, so now it's in the correct spot. I can see it, you could not, but I was just holding this above my head so that I could see where I was placing this. And don't worry about this right here, because we're covering that up in a second. But you're just going to want to make sure this is sealed down. Okay. Got your little shakers. Next thing we're going to do is, let's take these snips. I am just going to cut around the edge of this very carefully, but I just want to get rid of any excess paper that is around the jar, because I want to create like as flat a surface as possible. I know this looks terrible. You're wondering, why is she doing that? But I'll show you in a second why. I just want the least amount of cardstock, and we're going to cover this up in just a second. Okay, now we're going to take, some more paper. I think I've got one more sheet of this paper. If not, we'll use another pattern. Okay, got one more sheet of this paper. So we're going to cut this down to size. Stampin' Up trimmer. Okay, so I'm going to make this is going to be 5 3/8. 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. We're gonna cover that up. Now it's not going to be perfect because this jar does sit kind of close to here, but what we're going to try and do is cover it up so that for the most part, at least you're not going to see this little weird white thing and the window sheet. If that doesn't bother you and you just want to have that little square sitting out there, then don't trim around it. Then just leave it like that and don't worry about it. Or use a smaller piece. You could also use like a secret C piece to cover it up. I'm using this paper because it's got like some texture to it and it's lighter than the secret C, and so it's just going to kind of cover this. It's not going to be perfect. I feel like right here on the bottom it's going to gape just a teeny tiny bit. You see what I mean? But at least it's going to cover it, and because this has a busy pattern on it, it's not going to show so much. Like when you open the card, it's because the pattern's so busy, your eye's not going to find the bump, so to speak, right? Okay, so look, we got our little shakers. And now we're going to come back in, and you said we're going to go back with the original pattern. We're going to do strawberry slush, and we're going to punch once. And then I want something to cover that gap up. So we're going to take this right here and we're going to come from the bottom. I know this is going to kind of ruin this piece of cardstock, but I don't care because I'm just punching this bottom lump. So I'm lining up my edge of the cardstock. If I was doing this so as to not ruin a big piece of chunk of cardstock, I would grab, I don't have anything really skinny right now, but like I would grab like a skinnier piece of cardstock, and you know, maybe like less than an inch, and then put it in there, because all underneath here is going to, you're going to punch the jar shape out. So you can basically just do like, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch. I'll just show you, like if you have like leftover little pieces like this, that's what I would use this for. And I would just like line it up. Yeah, I think 1/2 inch would even have worked. But just so, because you just want that top little bump. That's all you want to punch. And now I don't know. Okay, there it is. Okay, so first of all, so much stuff on my desk. It's crazy. Okay, we're gonna score this lid. So we want to give it a little character without a lot of work. And then we're just gonna glue it into place. And then we're going to take this piece and glue it into the gap. Like that. So that it doesn't have like that floating lid look, right? So there's that. And then a bow. So this is not a very hard shaker card at all. It's fairly easy. And if you follow my little instructions, you know, placement wise, it should work like fairly well. And then you've got your little shakers in the matching colors that you used. And I think we used, the only color we did not use is cloud cover, but I think in the back of this paper here there is a little bit of the lighter blue in the cloud cover, so it works, right? And even though in this card I didn't use Shy Shamrock and Summer Splash, it works to have some different kind of color. It kind of just looks like confetti, right? So much stuff on my work surface. It's like really bad. Let's shove it off to the side. Let's pretend my work surface is like this big and it looks just so good. And it doesn't look bad at all. So, okay, I think if I had chosen some more masculine colors, like even, you know, taking like a green or something like that, if I had done that, and of course we shouldn't assign colors to masculine and feminine, but I'm just saying, you know, if you wanted something other than pink for this card, this could have also looked a little bit more like a masculine card. We could have used different colors of candles in a different lid, and it looks kind of like a jar in space, or use a different designer series paper, right? I was just kind of all in on that designer series paper. But that is how you make the shaker card. This is how you make the easier card. So easy and quick to make these little jar cards. You don't need a die cutting machine, right? We kept the label really simple. And oh, I wanted to show you how to make the inside, because I did not stamp an inside. Yesterday, I'm still in recovery mode. It's hard for me to sit and stamp for a while. So let me just show you what I had envisioned for making the inside. I love the candles, and so I thought we would play on the candle theme for the inside. So let me just clean these. I'm going to do one for my pink and purple card, and I'm going to do one for my other card. So I am just going to do candles along the bottom of here. I thought that would be fun. So we're going to do petunia, and we're going to start off, well, we won't put the full candle because I want enough room to write. So we're just going to kind of eyeball the center. And the nice thing about these candles is you're just going to keep lining up this same candle all the way to the edge, because the pink ones are the ones that go in between, right? So you just keep on rolling with the candles all the way to the edge. Okay, and then we're gonna come in with the Pretty in Pink. Make sure that I clean this. Okay, Pretty in Pink. And then we're just gonna pop the pink candles in between all of these. This is kind of neat because it kind of gives it, it's a pattern, right? But it looks a little random because it's not, you know, 1 2 1 2 1 2, right? So we're just gonna fill those in. So we've got all the little candles on the bottom, and then we can add flames too, right? So we can go in, and I'm just gonna do them on the pink candles so that there's room. And actually there are flames for the other candles too. You could absolutely do that, but I like this flame the best because it's like, it actually looks kind of bright and cheery. So there are, I did not break out my other little candle flames, but there we go. We'll just do that all the way along the bottom just to kind of give the card a fun look. And then clean these up. So for here, I'm gonna stack this, I think. Birthday. And then sometimes I get happy upside down. I'm gonna do happy birthday. And that's how I'm going to do my card. And yes, you could bring this down and center it more, but I think I've explained before, the way I like to write my cards, I like the name up at the top, and then I like to write more down on the bottom, so I don't like it when my greeting is centered. If I'm buying a card, of course, you're stuck with your card, but if you're making your own cards, and I'm just going to do this for the one card, so you can see what it looks like. I won't stamp the other card. I won't make you go through the whole process of seeing that, but I'm going to glue this to the inside of my card. So if this was my shaker card, this is how it would look. I'll glue this to the inside of my shaker card. One thing with these shaker cards is, yes, you could probably mail them. I don't know if they'd probably be extra postage because they're a little thicker. I don't know if they're the best cards to mail though, because you know they're going to get squished in transit, and they do have this foam, so it might be okay, but it might also not be okay. So you know, just keep that in mind. This might be a card that's better handed in person, or if you're mailing a package, then you have some more protection and it's not going to go through the ringer, right? So there we go. Happy birthday. And then we've got the candle repeat down at the bottom. So that's how I would finish the inside, just for those of you who like to do your insides as well as your outsides. So I hope you enjoyed that. And if you enjoyed this video, if I helped you today, I hope you'll subscribe to my channel. Leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up, interact with my video in some way, share it, and that all helps me get seen by other people. Now, my shoulder is like just still hurting, so I'm going to go through the comments very quickly today. I'm so sorry, guys. It is when I am sitting here in a certain position that it really, really bothers me. And I just, I'm sorry. Okay. Hello, Tanya and Valerie and Marja. Thank you so much for being here. Hello, Jennifer. And she says she loves my creations. Thank you. Hello, Deborah. And she says she's watching on the big screen. Now that's scary for me. Hello, Mary. Hello, Lois. Hello, Adelaide from Germany. Oh, that's so nice that you're here. Good morning, Ginger. She says she loves my ideas. Hello, Deborah and Mary and Kim. And hello, Candy from Florida. Hello, Deborah. Marty said the candles could be battery operated candles. That would be my explanation. That's true. Okay, that's your science brain working. Very good. Hello, Tina. Hello, Nalita. Hello, Deirdre. She said, Marty says she loves these, and she says, thanks for all the tips. Well, you're welcome. Okay, Kim said, could you make the shaker jar separately and glue it on the front, thus avoiding the inside bump? Yes, but then you would have, well, actually, I'm going to say no, because it's like a window sheet, right? So you would have to create like a window inside that punched area, right? Like you would have to carve out the center. So, I mean, it's possible, but it's going to be different. And because you have to build it up, I'm trying to find my stamp set case and see if I have any extra punched pieces in there. Sorry. Okay, this is a bad example but this is the jar. So if you punch this out and try to make this a shaker, you'd have to have another punch, or you would have to carve out the center with a hobby blade, and you'd have to leave yourself a little edge, and then you'd have to create the little bump in that way. So yes, but I think having it on the top would be much, 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 much more complicated. Like this is the easy thing. I'm trying to think if there's a way to avoid the bump a little bit more. I think this is about as far in, it's as far in as it can reach, so there isn't really an option for that. You could just layer a piece of straight cardstock on the back that covers up the window sheet area, but you're always going to have like a bit of a lump on the inside if you use those strips. You know, that's the whole fun part about having the shaker. Now sometimes in the past we've had different things that have had shaker domes, in which case that's a different thing. Than the dome sticks out of the front, but this is something that is recessed. So yeah, this is the way I would make a shaker with this particular punch. And you know, we fill in that little gap there too, between the lid and the jar, so it doesn't look bad. It looks good. But that's a good thought. I did actually think of that earlier, Kim. Just couldn't find a better way to cover up the lump, and there really wasn't a nice way to do the jar on the front. Deidre said, she keeps putting this set in her cart and taking it out. But why, Deirdre? Should I say this little box? And what else have I done? I've done this little box and this little box, and oh, I'm walking across my room now. This is with the Jar of Joy stamp set edition. And this one also, I did this one. This one's cute. Tea light holder. You can also do this. Someone shared with me how she had done this one also with a vellum. So, Deirdre, you can't take it out. You must buy it. I'm just kidding. You don't have to buy it. But I'm just saying that, and this one, I did it before we had the Jar of Joy. This could also be done as a Christmas slider box. There are just so many cute ideas with this particular bundle. I love that we have the additional stamp set now for Christmas. It gives you more mileage for the punch for different seasons. So I know, right? She says, your designs are the best at influencing me. Well, you don't have to buy it, but just know that if you did buy it, you've got at least 3 3D projects and a shaker card, and I think I've done another card with it. So besides that, go on the internet, go on Google and do a search and do Stampin' Up! Sweet Jar Bundle, and you will see other things that people have done. That's what I do sometimes, like for inspiration, especially for coloring inspiration. I don't necessarily need 3D inspiration. Sometimes I need to look at how people have colored things to inspire me. But I do use the internet for that. And that's also a really great way then to see all the other samples that people have done with it. All right. Judy says, I hope your shoulder gets better real soon. Well, thank you. Yes. And so I should also mention, I was going to do this at the end. I will not be here next Tuesday. That will be our travel day. So I have not decided yet if I'm going to just shove Casing Tuesday till Wednesday, because we won't be back until, I don't know, I think it's the afternoon or evening, because we're flying against, I think we don't get until the evening. So definitely Tuesday's out for Casing Tuesday next week. And this Friday, we're also going to be traveling, so I'm not going to be doing a Friday video. But then the following week, I will be back with my Friday videos and with my Casing Tuesday again. I will most likely do the Casing Tuesday card. I don't know, maybe I'll do it. I'll see how I am. Right now with my shoulder, the worst part for me is sitting at my desk and stamping. So I to design yesterday, I was like up and down and moving around. It actually doesn't hurt when I walk. It's when I sit leaning forward. When I'm sitting leaning back, it's not as bad, but forward, somehow it sets it off again. I thought I was doing really well this morning until I started stamping with you guys this morning. Oh my goodness. All right. All right. T says, feel better soon. Thank you, T. Thank you for all the well wishes. Marty says, suggestion, put the date on your cards either on the top right or the inside so you can use the made by stamp, your name, initials, and the date in the back. You know what? It is always a great idea when you're sending people a card, and I don't do this enough, to put the date on the card, because sometimes people will keep your cards and then to look back and see the date. It's really good for, if you are keeping things. So yeah, put those dates on the cards. I love that idea. Yes, that's Marty's saying the exact same thing for people who save your cards. I remember when we were cleaning up my mom's condo after she passed away, she kept all the cards that I gave her. She didn't keep everything. She was not a pack rat, but she kept all the cards. And I took all of them and I put them on the floor and I stood up on a chair and then I took a photo of all the cards that I had sent to her. And that was just a reminder to me that she loved me that much to keep all of those cards. That was, I didn't keep them after that because you can't keep all the cards forever. But I did keep that photo and that still means a lot to me. So now I'm getting all teary. Okay, moving along. Candy said you could put the jar shaker with the front whole piece popped up from the base. Yeah, I don't know if we're talking about the same thing, but if you have a better idea, Candy, let me know in the email. I feel like putting it on top, it won't work, right? Like I think it has to be behind the window, unless I'm just not thinking of it correctly. You know, sometimes you have to see something before you understand it, and maybe I'm not understanding your comment correctly. But if you have a better way of doing the shaker card, let me know, because if I ever get a chance to, I will do a different shaker card. If I deem it easy enough. I always feel like whatever I'm trying to teach, I want to make sure that it's easy enough in my brain that it's replicatable, like that I can share with you how to make it step by step without too much craziness. That's always my goal. I don't want to create things that aren't easy to do again, or at least if they're not easy, at least I can give you the steps. It's like a Lego build that has lots of parts to it, and if you follow all the parts, you can do it. I'm not afraid of those kinds of projects. I'm just afraid that if it's not something that I can explain well, or if it's too wishy-washy and it doesn't work every single time, then those are the projects that I try and stay away from. Marty says you could put more shaker strips on the inside cover of the piece, then it would even out the back. Also put a second score line on the top fold. Yeah, that's true. You could make it so it's even all the way around, so it's like thick all the way around. That's true. That's true. I was just thinking, on the off chance that you could mail the card, then having less bulkiness, just having bulkiness in one area, it would kind of go through the machines better. But I like your idea, Marty, of just raising the whole back up so it's all raised instead of just having a lumpy portion. You guys always have the greatest ideas. I love that. Marty says she has this bundle and the second stamp set sitting in her cart for a week or so. You've convinced me to send the order in awe. Well, I think, especially with the Christmas add-on, I think a lot of us make holiday cards, so that makes it really great. And the original, the sweet jar bundle, it's been around for a little while now, but it does cover a few seasons, so that's kind of nice too. Thank you, Judy, for the safe travel wishes. And she says she always signs and dates the cards. That's such a good idea. I really like that idea. I wish I would remember that when I was rushing around getting cards out the door. Marty says her parents saved all her cards, but when her dad died in the care home, they cleaned up the room and threw the cards away. Aw, that I gave him there. We were so upset, but I know he loved them. Yeah, aw, that's really sweet. And my mother-in-law, she's great too. She keeps the cards that I send her too, and I feel very fortunate that I have a family that loves that. I feel very loved, and that's why I'm tearful when they're gone, right? But thankfully, I still have my mother-in-law and father-in-law around. Yeah, so now we have good memories of the people that we have lost. Okay, let's move on to happier things. And Judy says she's sorry, Marty. Yeah. Deep breath. Okay. All right, guys. I just want to remind you, I will not be here on Tuesday next week. I don't think I'm going to be able to film a video. If I am, I will absolutely drop some videos for the times I'm gone. If not, I will just be gone a week and then I will be back to my normal schedule. Not this Friday, but the following Friday, I will be going live. In the meantime, on September 3rd, so next Wednesday, our new holiday catalog, and I can't show you the inside yet because Stampin' Up! Does not allow that. But if you are one of my customers and requested a catalog, I have heard that they have started shipping. I've heard from some customers that they got their catalogs. This is the new holiday catalog, and it will be starting September 3rd. And as soon as September 3rd hits, I will be doing projects with new catalog product. Not this Friday, but next Friday, definitely we will be using new product out of the holiday catalog. I can't wait. I've been holding off doing projects with this catalog, these products, because a lot of you don't have access to them yet. So, but this is coming next Wednesday. You can start ordering from this catalog. So I'm excited about that. All right, don't forget, we just have a few days left of the In Color special. It ends at the end of August, and I will see you in about a week and a half from now with my next live video. So I hope all of you take care until then, and have a great week. Take care. Bye-bye.